Star Wars 7x7 episode 2513. This is a second episode in a row where I've been sitting on something and thinking, oh, I should do an episode about this. And then a drop of news happens that brings everything up to the surface, but it turns out this new news isn't actually new news after all. It has to do with Dave Filoni and his promotion and adding the title Executive Creative Director to his bio on Lucasfilm's website, and I'll give you the whole rundown here. Punch it. Hey Rebel Rouser, I'm Alan Voivod and this is Star Wars 7x7, your daily dose of Star Wars joy, and thank you so much for joining me for it. So first of all, congratulations to Dave Filoni, who has been promoted. He is not just an executive producer, but he is now also an executive creative director with Lucasfilm. This title, according to sources including Variety, was actually made official in the summer of 2020, and it's only now that we're all hearing about it because it was updated on a website. But working backward, the reason why I had been thinking about doing an episode related to the leadership structure of Lucasfilm had to do with a long report that Variety did where they talked about reorganization happening within Disney and about Bob Iger leaving at the end of the year and the way Bob Chapek has been learning the ropes and is now asserting himself more. And there was a bit in there about Kevin Feige, who is of course the president of Marvel Studios. And this is the part of the narrative of that article. It says, after it was announced in 2019 that Feige would produce a Star Wars movie, there were rumors that he might assume more control of Lucasfilm. However, insiders at Disney say that Feige is fully committed with his Marvel duties and has no ambition to lead Lucasfilm or take more of a role. Few details have emerged about the Star Wars film he wants to make, and no production timeline has been set. And his own words, of course, have been very well aligned with it. When somebody asked him about The Mandalorian, he said, yeah, my only involvement in The Mandalorian is that I stay up until midnight so I can watch the next episode, right? So that and the reinforcement of Kathleen Kennedy's role at Lucasfilm that happened in Investor Day a couple of months back, where Bob Chapek said that we're looking forward to having her at the helm for years to come, especially considering that her contract is supposed to be up at the end of this year. That's certainly a great vote of confidence as well. But I'd been thinking about Kevin Feige and also about Louis D'Esposito and Victoria Alonso, who are the other two key people at Marvel Studios. Louis D'Esposito is a co-president and Victoria Alonso is an executive VP in charge of production, and wondered who, if Lucasfilm ended up following that structure, might go into those kinds of positions. And it occurred to me that Dave Filoni might potentially go into one of those positions, that as somebody who is on the creative side of things, that he might possibly take someday a Kevin Feige type role, because before he was named president of Marvel Studios, he was the chief creative officer, and that certainly aligns with the type of work that Dave Filoni is doing for sure. But I don't really see him moving to the same level of business operation that Kathleen Kennedy is at, who is a producer at heart, a long time and hugely successful producer. So it didn't necessarily quite fit. And now with the announcement officially of Dave Filoni's promotion to this executive creative director position, well, it seems to add more clarity in a sense, because there are two other people who also hold this executive creative director title. One of them is Doug Chiang, who we know as the visual designer extraordinaire who has won Academy Awards, and he is the heir apparent to Ralph McQuarrie, if you will, in terms of the concept art and all of these incredible things that he does. And then we have John Knoll, who is the executive creative director. He is over on the special effects side of the house with ILM. And I thought that ended up being very fitting in a way, because you have kind of the pre-production side of things with Doug Chiang and the post-production side of things with John Knoll, and then Dave Filoni, who is obviously a great hand with animation, but told Kathleen Kennedy a while ago that he wanted to get better at live action. That's where he wanted to grow and evolve with his skill set next. And she, got him involved in that whole live action situation, got him to go to Pinewood Studios and learn while, watching the filmmakers work. And he is just, over the moon excited about that stuff and completely grateful to Kathleen Kennedy for providing these opportunities for him. And, look how it's going. Now he is an executive creative director, but they haven't necessarily given him a specific title within that sort of thing. So Doug Chiang's is executive creative director Star Wars, John Knowles is executive creative director ILM, but what Dave Filoni is, it's really, storytelling, I think, even though it hasn't been particularly specified. Ultimately, though, it seems like the team is building out at Lucasfilm and people are moving into the positions that are perfectly suited for them. Dave Filoni is a tremendous storyteller, but he is at the point now where he needs to take on the role that George Lucas took on when Lucas was mentoring Filoni back in 2008 and earlier, getting him ready to do the Clone Wars TV series. Now it's time for Dave Filoni to become the master and start mentoring other storytellers and helping them tell the best new Star Wars stories for the next generation and beyond. And of course, that's already happening with his work helping Jon Favreau tell the best story possible for The Mandalorian. It's in progress right now as Robert Rodriguez works on the Book of Boba Fett, and Jennifer Corbett and Brad Rau work on The Bad Batch, and obviously many more fascinating stories to come. So there you go. That's the news about Dave Filoni's executive creative director promotion, along with some color filled in from Lucasfilm and also for comparative purposes, Marvel stuff as well. And that's going to do it for this episode of the show. It just remains for me to say thank you so much for joining me for it as always, and may the Force be with you wherever in the world you may be.
7x7 is not endorsed or sponsored yet by Lucasfilm Limited, Disney, or 20th Century Fox, and is intended for entertainment and information purposes only. Star Wars, the Star Wars logo, all names and pictures of Star Wars characters, vehicles, and any other Star Wars related items are registered trademarks and or copyrights of Lucasfilm Limited, or their respective trademark and copyright holders. May the Force be with them. All original content is copyright 2021 by Star Wars 7x7. We hope you love it.